Welcome to the Pharma Voice Editor's Take video series, filmed live at the 2013 DIA Annual Meeting in Boston, hosted by Taryn Grome, editor of Pharma Voice. In this episode, Taryn meets with Graham Hughes, Chief Medical Officer, SAS Institute.
Graham, thank you so much for joining us for our 2013 DIA Editor's Take video program.
You're welcome.
Talk to us about how organizations can leverage big data analytics to gain a deeper understanding of their market opportunities. Certainly a hot topic.
It's a huge topic, and I mean, in the end, biopharmaceutical industry is a data-driven industry, so what better? If you think about big data analytics, I think about it that we've been looking at a stream of data, so you can think about streams or pools of data as those streams come together, so we can use streams of data from not only clinical trials, but we can use EMR data, we can use claims data, we can use other real-world data. And by that I mean consumer data, behavioral data sets, investigator data. All of that, when it comes together, starts to become large lakes of data, and then in the end, really oceans of data. So when we talk about big data, what we're talking about is the opportunity to mine much larger data sets than we've ever done before. That's really what SAS does. We're a data-driven company. We provide tools that allow organizations to do that. And so the opportunities, I think, are really pretty much endless. And what we're doing is we're working with our customers right now to use some of our advanced, high-end big data visualization techniques. We have a tool called Visual Analytics that allows customers to take these very, very large data sets, and instead of doing queries that would take maybe months, weeks or months or days to try and get the answers, we can start to run those types of insights and identify cohorts of patients that would benefit from particular types of treatments, or potentially even better understand the implications of therapy for particular populations earlier in the cycle of clinical trials, so that we can actually identify new opportunities for drugs, new opportunities for compounds, as well as new opportunities for areas where we can actually put our investigation for new research and development projects to identify new compounds based upon the insights we're getting for those cohorts of patients.
It sounds wonderful and fantastic, but it seems like there's still some barriers to have to overcome with your pharmaceutical clients. And how can you guys break those down?
Well, the challenge really for us oftentimes are more sort of political than anything else. You've got political concerns, you've got concerns around prove to me that we can do this and that the data is secure and that the data will be safe, that we're actually protecting the integrity of the data that we have. And so one of the things that we really are doing is we're somewhat agnostic to that. So what we're saying is the future is coming. There's going to be more data rather than less. As you move forward with this, we can provide you with tools and capabilities that will keep the data secure, can process it at large volumes, and really we can help people get over that sort of concern around, is the data managed in a with integrity and with privacy controls and with the level of security that would be required to allow for all of these data to be pulled together in a way that's appropriate and responsible. So we can do that, and we have examples of where we've done it. We're working with our customers at the moment to try and figure out what are the issues around consent or around secondary use that we would need to overcome to make sure we can take this broader pool of data to the benefit of the patient population, as well as to better identify those areas that are going to be more attractive for that individual organization. It's interesting because you probably heard it said that every disease is going to become a rare disease, and what we mean by that is that not just that you'll understand more about the genetic underpinnings of disease, but we'll understand more about individual motivation, individual patient circumstances, more about their past history, more about their electronic health record data. And so what we end up doing is identifying smaller and smaller target populations where healthcare organizations and pharmaceutical companies can differentiate with their products, where they can actually provide higher value to very, very targeted cohorts of patients. And so I think that as we start to see benefit from that, that's going to be where some of these barriers will be overcome. We'll start to see organizations that start to see that if they can identify much more targeted cohorts that meet the criteria for that particular compound, it's going to be important.
And this follows on that same thread, and let's talk a little bit about healthcare quality and outcomes in terms of controlling costs. So how can better data understanding facilitate that better business process?
Well, it's interesting if you think about how can we actually be managing, improving care quality and outcomes and still controlling cost. In the end, to me, that's again all about getting a more of a 360 view of the patient or the population of patients that you're managing. And I'll give you an example. One of the ways that we're starting to leverage from a sort of a health economics and an outcomes perspective is we're using some of the same types of tools that have been used in other industries, so in the retail industry or in banking or insurance, that are around consumer analytics. And the idea there is that we're trying to understand not only risk and the likelihood for the opportunity to improve a population's health, but also to understand what is it that I need to do to engage that patient. So what is it that I can do to better target that patient to improve their adherence to medication therapy? What can I do to better outreach to those who are more likely to be more directly impacted by that therapy? So what we find is that not only are you actually going to start to get a better engagement and a better retention by identifying the attributes of the patient's behavior, analyzing their social profile, analyzing the motivational impacts of those patients. You can pool all of those data together, and just as we've done in retail and insurance and other industries, we can start to apply that into understanding patients as unique individuals and take that and to provide that as a way of better understanding how we can engage a patient, identify those patients who are most likely to benefit, identify those patients who need to stay on therapy, and how we can then target the interventions and the appropriate interactions with those customers essentially to manage them as individuals over time. And that means that not only are we actually getting the right drug to the right patient, we're getting it to the right drug to the right patient, we're getting the right messaging to ensure that the patients stay compliant and stay on their treatment path. And that, of course, has the benefit of decreasing complications, increasing adherence, and giving, of course, advantage back to the biopharmaceutical companies who are interested in making sure that the patients are adherent to therapies that benefit them. So in the end, it becomes a win-win all round. So those are the types of marketing automation or other analytics techniques that can be used to better understand the health economics impact of targeted interventions to targeted populations.
It's very exciting stuff ahead.
It's really, I think that the next generation for us is going to be about how we deal with this data overload. And it's going to take high-powered, sophisticated tools. And the group that I work in at SAS is an innovation group, and we're focused really exclusively on how do we deal with the broader data sets, how can we converge and coalesce data sets from across biopharmaceutical companies, how can we converge data sets that tell us more about the individual from EHRs, mobile technology, sensor technology. If we look ahead 5 or 6 years, I think we're going to find that the whole process of managing and caring for patients, as well as in both formulating, discovering, and then deploying new therapies, is going to be all data-driven. So it's an exciting time.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks very much.
Additional Editors Take videos, as well as podcasts, white papers, webinars, and more, are available in the resources area at www.pharmavoice.com.